Picture this, you are sitting in your room, dead silence. Your hands are frozen on your mouse. On the screen, the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. You refresh your page, a number starts moving. One cell, another. You're not doing anything, you're simply watching how. Picture this, you are sitting in your room, dead silence. Your hands are frozen on your mouse. On the screen, the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. You refresh your page, a number starts moving. One cell, another. You're not doing anything, you're simply watching how numbers landing at your bank account. That feeling watching your bank account grows on your eyes is one of the best feelings one can have. Nothing can replicate it. In 120 seconds, 1,070,000 simply moved to our bank account. Here's the part nobody tells you about such a moment. We didn't make that money in those 120 seconds. Those 120 seconds were just the collection. The money was made weeks before that, while nobody was watching. I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened before that countdown even started. Because if you are a creator, a coach, or an expert, or a founder sitting on an audience, you don't know how to turn it into revenue. And here's the mistake that most of creators with the audience have. They think that monetization is a link in bio, Patreon, selling a course. It's not a real monetization. It's simply putting an offer in front of distracted people. A real monetization is engineered event. When you have the community, build anticipation, and you have a short time frame window when you directly, targetedly motivate these people to make a purchase. The real money is when you turn your audience attention into one engineered, tangible event. When people think about it, talk about it, anticipate, and they have a fear of missing out if they are not joining it. That's what launch does. It takes an audience, concentrates their attention, builds up the desire, anticipation, and make them move in one decisive moment. Quick context who even telling you this. I'm not a marketer by training, I'm a doctor who was able to pull off a 7-figure launch in tech industry with zero product, zero experience in tech, zero marketing experience, and no influence and no community. When I started, I didn't even have a product, all I had was idea. I simply took this idea, packaged it in a way that people can understand, then I gathered a community of 30,000 people, built anticipation around this idea, and made them wait for the moment when they can buy. My product was in tech, but it's not a tech story. It is a story of how anyone can take an idea, build anticipation around it, turn this anticipation into product, even when you don't have a finished product itself, and sell it. These fundamental mechanisms, they work everywhere. In coaching, in paid communities, in selling courses. Any offer where you have an audience and nothing to sell to them. When I started, I was seeing people who were making launches, making substantial amount of money from them, above 7 figures, but I cannot understand how exactly they do it. Very soon I figured out that people who made all these launches, they simply seen one thing that was invisible, that when the launch executes, all this hype, all this demand was engineered many weeks in advance. So I stopped admiring them from sidelines and started to reverse engineer one launch after another until the pattern became obvious to me. Build the idea, gather the community around this idea, warm them up and sell them at the right moment. Once I understood this, it was time to move. And first step was the idea itself. I decided to launch a game. I opened a blank document and started quickly sketching the basic mechanics of the game, the plot with the distant future where people trying to survive, the basic economy, mechanics, everything that needed for people to quickly grasp about what this game would be. The step 2 was the community, and my problem was that I had zero following. It means if I had no following, I had to make advertisement, and for advertisement I need money, and since I had no money, it means that I had to find an investor. I knew one guy who was involved in online projects. I met him literally on a party, quickly pitched him idea, and he gave me a very small capital to try this out. Once I had a little capital, the next step was to make something tangible that people can see. A website with my game description, characters, images, very simple and basic. I didn't even have any design taste. I made a very simple sketch by my hand using pencil on the paper, found the first agency I can find who made websites and simply asked them to make something very simple, very fast in 1 week. What came back was ugly and fast and not even anything comparable to what you can do today using AI. Anyway, after this, I started to building my community. I started putting them slowly, one by one, into my Telegram channel. That's when I figure out the actual secret. It's not about growing the community very fast. It's about steering the community into the right direction with right vibes when people have the common goal and common expectations and common belief. When the goal and belief slowly reinforced day by day, this is when the whole magic happens. It's not that complicated to do it. You simply take an idea people can understand, then you create a space for them where they can gather, then you build up an anticipation. You share your progress and you building your progress online. Then you create a time frame, a window where people have any options rather than buy. And also you make it scarce in time and in quantity. None of those steps are special. I copied every one of them. The actual skill was in steering the community, because keeping 30,000 people at bay, focused on one goal instead of drifting all over the place to side conversation, was brutally hard. I lost the thread more times than I want to admit, because my problem that I was faceless, and it's hardest exactly when there is no anchor, no main character, trusted face. The group already knows, follows and orbits around. Have that, the whole thing gets 10 times easier. The final step was the launch day itself. It's a short window where the sale opens, seats are kept, and the whole thing either converts or it doesn't. By launch day, that group was 30,000 people deep. And when the countdown hit 0, we sold out for 7 figures in 120 seconds. Note, it wasn't 30,000 strangers, 30,000 people who'd spend 2 months watching the idea to take shape, arguing about it, defending it, telling their friends before there was anything to actually buy. The community, what really mattered, not the website, not the art, the goal and 30,000 people that want to reach that goal. This is the entire launch. A community, a person they gather around, and the clever steering to the goal. Here is the part that should bother you. You are a creator with an audience. You already have the hardest asset in the whole sequence, attention. Most businesses spend years and budgets they don't have trying to build it. You already have it. Use it. What you're probably missing isn't audience size, it's the sequence. You post, you show up, and somewhere in the back of your head you assume that content eventually turns into money on its own. It doesn't. Attention doesn't convert by accumulating. It converts when somebody engineers into an event. A window where the people have been watching you for months finally have a reason and a deadline to become buyers. That's the gap. Not your content, not your following, but space between people pay attention to you and people pay you. Here is why this works even better for you than it did for me. I built this 30,000 person community from zero. No name, no trust, no following. You don't have this problem. If you're a creator with an audience, you already have the one thing I spent months faking. People who know you, trust you, and check to your account without being asked. That warm audience, when it enters this sequence, it's already 100 meters ahead from the point where I started with my cold audience. Do the same steps. Promise before the product, build belief in public, force a scarce moment on top of the audience that already knows your name, and you will get a beautiful launch. And the great thing that it compounds. Each consequent launch will be bigger and bigger than you had before. You are a creator, you're in the perfect environment to do so. If you already have an audience and you don't know how to monetize it, we can make a launch together. I will help you. For this, simply look at the link at the description, book a call, and we'll see what we can do together.